Andrew McCART, IFL TV. We just finished up here in Newcastle. Eddie, you've asked for your young guns to produce you and show you something. Did we get that tonight with the young fighters tonight?
Some of them, and some of them we didn't. One of them got beat, and the other one could have well got beat. So that's okay. You can't expect every night to go your way. And I think it's a credit to the matchmaking tonight that all the fights were so competitive. That's what we want. If you underperform or you're not good enough, you shouldn't win. And you saw a little bit of that before tonight. You saw some very good performances. You saw some great talents. But you also saw some great fights. And I thought it was a great night of boxing.
Ben Davidson's getting a lot of praise for his honesty. Shabaz as well after the fight there. Just your thoughts on it? I don't know. You can get it if you want. But
everybody else did, just not me. Look, I loved what they said. Because he's coming down the line, right? Shabaz, Ben Davison, me. I'm thinking, I know what I'm going to say. Which is what I said.
I thought you just copied Ben, that's why.
But they all said it for me. And I love that they said it because there's no point sugarcoating it. Because you're not going to improve. You're not going to take it on board. Shabaz Masoud was lucky to win tonight because it was a fight that could have gone either way. And if he loses, he's in the shit. We can't stand on the top of the mountain telling the whole world that Shabaz Masoud is the future of the division and he's going to be a multi-weight world champion. And he goes and boxes like that. But that's okay. No one made one excuse. You know the excuse is? He hasn't boxed for 12 months. He had COVID 3 weeks ago, pulled out, made weight, had to come back, make weight again. He took a step up. They're all things that we could have said. But isn't it much better to say, look, mate, we're behind you 100%. We know you're a world-class fighter. That weren't good enough. He said it himself. So I love the honesty, and it's a fight that could have gone either way. So got to come back better.
Cameron Vuong, mature performance in the third round up into the sixth round. I think the first 2 rounds, maybe from your perspective as well, maybe the occasion got to him a little bit. Co-headlining in his second professional debut in his home city. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any such thing as a second professional debut.
A second debut?
Yeah, but or a second debut. You only really get one, Andy, but that's okay. It was a very interesting comment. But
I would just edit that out.
Yeah. No, leave it in. It's good. So I think that a couple of things. One is, we had a lot of problem matching Cameron Vuong because of the hype that comes with it. All of a sudden, we're low on options. We take this, Colombian or South American opponent, 5-4, comes in 4 pounds over on the scales. Definitely at least one weight class above Cameron Vuong, and a good fighter. Never been stopped. The first 2 rounds, Cameron comes out. He's a bit jumpy, trying to get his distance. And then, for me, what I loved about the performance is just the way he adapted and the maturity of saying, just stay calm, just box him here, bank the rounds. I gave the other guy 1 round, but won every round on the scorecards, and that shows maturity. That's the kind of fight where you can lose your head a little bit, and it can start becoming. You can get frustrated, you can get afraid. 6 rounds, Jesus, I need to win this fight. So I thought Cameron boxed really well, and those kind of fights are so much better for you than just beating an overmatched opponent. Callum French, again, nowhere near good enough, and I'm delighted for Jeff Ofori, but again, my honesty will say, if you can't beat Jeff Ofori, you're not going to the levels that we would expect or want you to go to. So you've got to reassess, look at your career, make some changes. And again, you can make excuses for Callum. He had an operation. He's been out for ages. He come back, but you've got to be performing at that level. Thought Mark Dickinson looked really good. 6th fight only. Stopped Dennis. A good performance, great punch picking. That was a guy that stepped up, delivered, we move on. Great fight. I mean, how tough was Mackenzie? And again, great towel from the corner from Dave Ritson, because you could have let him go on, but he was going to get stopped and he was going to get hurt. So well done them. Thought the Reese brothers were really exciting. Jimmy Sainz, super heavy-handed. It was a good night of boxing.
Spoke to Conor Benn earlier. Obviously, I spoke about the Chris Eubank Sr. comments, and he basically said to me, he was very, very courteous towards Senior, and he's basically said that I hope that he's involved with this fight, the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. I'm guessing you share them sentiments.
Yeah, of course, because he's a great character, and he's Chris Eubank Jr.'s dad. And in the other corner is the man he had his greatest ever rivalry with. So, from that perspective, we'd love to see him involved. But let's get the fight made first, and then who's going to be where, we'll worry about later.
Come on, Eddie. It's been probably 2 weeks since you said we're close to a date. We're going to get a date. The fight's going to get made. December 23rd is not going to happen, clearly. February 3rd, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, when can we get this day?
We hope that's the exact date and venue. From our side, there's 2 things that have to get done. Ourselves and Conor need to be happy and ready to sign, and then Calla and Chris Eubank same. From our perspective, we're virtually there. So we're speaking to Calla every day. I believe he's sitting down with Junior. I can't make him sign the fight, but I know it's by far the biggest fight out there for him, and we're very confident that we can get it over the line. There's a lot happening in the world of boxing at the moment. I'm sure there'll be a lot of announcements this week, and hopefully we can be one of them.
Talking about announcements, I'm sure you've been on Twitter and seen Dan Raphael. Here's what he's been saying in reference to Saudi, December 23rd. I don't know what you can tell me, Eddie, but apparently Wilder and Joshua are on the same card and Bivens on the same card and all this sort of stuff. Your fighters, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much, as I said to you earlier, because there's a lot of work to do, but we have a number of world-class fighters, and we are in discussions with Saudi Arabia for some of them to feature on December 23rd. Where it will go, we'll know in the next couple of days. Sounds incredibly exciting, something we'd love to be a part of. But we've got to act in the correct interest for our fighters, do everything properly like we do, and go through all those motions, and hopefully something can happen. Who, against who, when, we'll see. But yes, there are conversations and for a number of our fighters to feature on that card.
Caballero, Wallen for Joshua. I know you spoke about these names. You needing a guy within the top 10 to face Joshua, I believe. Yeah,
again, those... that side of things, not something for us to consider right now. Let's see how these discussions go with all these fighters, and I'm sure you guys will get news this week.
Eddie, I like how you rattle off dates and times and follow the fighters are on cards. Can you do it again? LA next week, and then what's next?
Yeah, LA next week. Can't wait, November the 18th. It's a really good card. Diego Pacheco is back against Caceres, who we saw give Billy Joe Saunders a great fight, and Edgar Berlanga a great fight. Look out for, on that card, Erica Cruz against Maylene Rivas for the world title. Tremendous fight. Mark Castro on that card. Also, Cal Yafai returns on that card in a really good fight. And then the week after, absolutely massive in Dublin. Chantel Cameron faces Katie Taylor. Huge night of boxing over there. Gary Cully against Reece Mould in a really good fight. Thomas Carty back in a really good fight. Danny Ball against Paddy Donovan, great fight. Sky Nicholson against Lucy Wildheart for the interim world title. Really good card. The week after, we're in Belfast. Tremendous night of boxing. Conlon against Gill. Kevin Ajarko against Troy Williamson. Crocker against McKenna as well. So much on that card. The week after that, Devin Haney against Regis Prograis in San Francisco. Great night of boxing. Liam Parra against Montana Love. Andy Cruz against Tanahara. Ebony Bridges as well, defending her world title. And then announced tonight, obviously, a lot of fighters on the undercard for Sonny Edwards. Against Bam Rodriguez. We have Peter McGraw on the card. Galal Yafai in a big fight for him. Junaid Boston in a good fight. MJ Akhmadaliev in a final eliminator. Joe McGraw, huge night for British boxing. And then the 23rd, we'll see. So it's a busy old run up to Christmas.
One last one for me, Eddie, because I know Matt's waiting patiently behind me here. You beat me on the 5K today. Trust me, that'll be the last one.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's beating and there's demolishing.
Demolishing, I'll give you that.
2.5 minutes over 5K is not. It's a demolition.
Right.
So.
Watch me do it in 20 minutes in Dublin. Watch.
Show me something, son.
It's on. Cheers, Eddie.